I think good journalism answers the questions about life that readers really need to know. And that has many dimensions. That can happen in the political and investigative realm, where they need to know something about their world and their government and what's going on around them. But because I'm a feature writer, it can also happen in the feature realm, where they need to know something about the more emotional questions of their lives or what's going around them in the environment. There are many, many dimensions of that question, and I think good journalism embraces them all. I think a good journalist must be endlessly curious and compulsively observant. And that means they're always watching the world, seeing what's around them, thinking of ways they can describe it, and they're always asking questions, endless, impertinent questions. I think it is necessary for journalists to sell themselves now, whether they're working for an employer full-time or whether they're a freelancer. They have to sell themselves to their public through social media and other means. Hopefully the best way they're going to sell themselves is through doing really good reporting. I don't think it has to be a bad word. In fact, I think that one concept that liberates that idea of selling yourself is the concept of thinking of yourself as the leader of a salon, of a conversation, because social media allows for conversation. So you provide a core with your reporting, but then the conversation keeps going on. And then that way it's not so much selling yourself as creating something socially important and potentially pleasurable. I think it is more personalized. I think people do tend to identify journalists more with a particular type of subject matter or a particular tone or approach. But there have been versions of this throughout history. I mean, I think I.F. Stone was known for something very particular. Nellie Bly was known for something very particular in terms of how she went out there and investigated things in an undercover way. I think the first step is being a truly good reporter and working on being able to provide that quality. But because the young journalist is already so habituated towards social media now, it's just the natural next step to extend what you do in your reporting in your social media world. Young journalists also have to be very careful. Once they start a professional life, they may need to start all their social media over, because if they're tweeting about the parties they went to in college and how drunk they got or things like that, that tweet is going to live on. So they may want to establish a professional Twitter feed, a professional Facebook page, where employers will find them there and then leave that other identity behind. Not with the biggest mouth, not with the best PR. I mean, I think it's really very simple. People remember people who do groundbreaking, in-depth, significant journalism. Editors remember them. The public remembers them. So it all depends on what you want to do. If you want to stand out to be a fashion reporter, that's obviously a different thing. But if you want to stand out for just regular bread and butter journalism of verification type work, you've got to do that really strong work, and the editor that you work for won't forget you, and you'll build your reputation from there. Absolutely. I mean, if we've made it through what's gone on in the past 5 years, and we're still putting out newspapers and still getting people to read news, I think we can find ways to sustain ourselves. I think no one knows exactly what that's going to look like. The fact of the matter is social media in particular is making more people read journalism. They're just not reading it in the same way. They're reading it in different places and at different times and from different sources. They don't have the brand loyalty to the publication anymore. So you find different ways of finding the brands you like. So I think journalism will continue to exist, certainly in our lifetimes and for the foreseeable future, but the form it takes, who knows?